Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show.
Rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we
defend the Constitution, because freedom matters.
Broadcasting live from the Kata Studio. Welcome to the Ho-Ho Show, and as always, I'm your host, Ho-Ho. So how y'all's doing? I hope you're doing good. I really do. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to go over today. There's just, stuff happening. Some points that I'm wanting to make. It's just, yeah. But before that, just so you know, I am making progress on the websites. For those of you that do not know, I am rebooting everything with the websites. I'm going through a different hosting platform, not Spreaker, podcast hosting thing. It's website hosting and building everything. And holy crap. Holy crap. I did not I didn't realize how much, through the course of however many years that the websites have been, live and active and whatnot, how much I've actually done in there. Because I never tried to do it all at once before. It's like, holy crap. Now in trying to do everything, it's like, wow, that's a lot. It's a lot. Doing all, yeah, wow. So I'm working on it. Soon, everything will be up, going, and live. And then there's some new things that's going to be going on with that as well. I can't just be revamping everything without putting different things in there and, just doing some stuff. So, there's a lot of features and whatnot that's going to be added, and I'm pretty excited about it. I really am. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So, let's go ahead and dive into this stuff. So y'all know how I like to start the show. I like to throw some satire in there. I like to, just have some fun with stuff. And, this show is going to be no different. So we are going to start over here with this article from my #1 source of satire news, the Babylon Bee. Headline: White House explains that Biden smeared suntan lotion on his sandwich and spread mayo on his face. A simple mistake that could have happened to anyone, even someone without dementia. I seen that and I had to chuckle. I had to laugh. And then while we were at it, I seen this other one. This other headline that I had to laugh at this one too. Let's read this one. And again, this is from the Babylon Bee as well. Headline: Korean Jean-Pierre says Biden has done more to preserve democracy than any other dictator in history. Wait a second. Wait, what? Preserving democracy more than any other dictator in history. Wait a second. Doesn't that... Let's read this. Let's read this because, this front part here, there's not a lot to this article. There's really not. Let's go ahead and read this. Washington, D.C. at a press conference this week. The White House press secretary assured members of the media President Biden has done more to preserve democracy in the U.S. than any other totalitarian dictator in history. I have personally seen the president working tirelessly to preserve our country's sacred democracy, Jean-Pierre commented. When he's not imprisoning his political rivals, censoring his detractors, or laundering money through foreign agents, he's working round the clock from about 2 p.m. to his 4 p.m. nap time to champion the fundamental principles of democracy and promote national freedom. Wow. Man, he's working hard, isn't he? But here's one of the things. Like, I got to be honest with y'all. I like Babylon Bee. And no, they are not a sponsor of the program. I just like what they do because it's satire with a purpose. It's satire with a purpose. I mean, that's how I classify the Babylon Bee. It's satire with the purpose. Because, come on. We all know that Joe Biden has dementia. We all know this, especially if you are somebody whom has lived around somebody, been close to somebody whom have had dementia, to knowing them before, has seen the decline. We know the signs. We know what that looks like. Or somebody whom has, researched dementia. Why are you going off? Snow possible. It already snowed today. Gee, you're a genius. Anyway, we all know what this looks like. We all do. Josh, hello over there in YouTube land. He says, Law, what's up? Not much, man. Not much at all. But we know what this looks like. We know what dementia looks like, especially if we've been around somebody that has suffered from it. We know what it looks like. And we know, especially with somebody whom has been in the, the political public sphere their entire life. We know what he was. We know who he is now. We've been able to see the decline. And it's like, yeah, we know what dementia looks like. We know what a dictator is. We know this. It's satire with a purpose. Anyway, let's get out of the satire realm here just a little bit. Let's get out of that. Let's move on over to, excuse me. I'm going to take a drink before we do that. Oh, good old Pepsi. Good stuff. Now, this is a headline from UPI. And this is something that I'd been waiting for quite some time for it to come out. And like you, I'm sure we all were, waiting for this to come out, for the names to come out, for the list to come out, for people whom have, been on a plane, been to an island, people that are linked with, and, there's all this other kind of stuff, I think we've all, for quite some time, have been waiting for these document dumps. Finally, it actually happened. This headline from UPI, third batch of Epstein documents reveals unsettling details. Now, look, I didn't go through and really look at some of these unsettling details because, quite frankly, it's like we know enough. You know, we know quite a bit, really, you know. I'm sure some people may be surprised on some of the names that have been in here. Some people may not be surprised on some of the names that's been in here. I got to be honest with you, I was kind of surprised on one of them that I've seen, and this article from Babylon B even kind of points to that one. This article says, and I got to click on it just because it's freaking hilarious, liberals praise Jeffrey Epstein for not discriminating against the disabled because apparently, you know, of the names that were on this list of people whom have visited, you know, Pedophile Island was Stephen Hawking. And it's like, okay. What? Huh? But anyway, let's continue back to this because that again is satire. Let me just get rid of that page. We don't need that up there. Let's get rid of that one too. Third batch of Epstein documents reveals unsettling details. Now, like I said, you know, I'm sure if we go through this, there's a lot they're still unpacking about this. This is something that they have been fighting for some time to, you know, not get released because of how damaging this could be for certain people. I mean, we all know, you know. But here's the thing that should be no surprise to anybody is that, yes, you know, one of the prominent figures that was, you know, a name that none of us were surprised about was good old Bill Clinton. And I'm sure nobody was surprised about that. I mean, this is something that, you know, it's again, they call it a document dump, you know, information getting released, but it's not like nobody knew. I mean, everybody knew this. Everybody knew this. You know, I mean, come on. We're talking about somebody. Here's the thing that I find, you know, it's like, why don't people just take a little bit of time? 1 + 1 = 2. Let's do a little bit of math. You know, nobody knows how this guy, how Jeffrey Epstein made his money. They can't really point to anything that would really justify the bankroll that this guy has. What was he peddling? What was he selling? What was he doing? What was going on? What did he invest in? You know, what? They can't really track a whole, you know, it's like he's doing something, obviously. Come on, people. You know, but yeah, nobody was surprised on some of this stuff. You know, as far as the names, you know, I mean, Kevin Spacey was one of them that was thrown out in there. Prince Williams, I believe, was another one. Of course, Bill Clinton was thrown in there. But here's the thing, you know, something that we have been waiting for quite some time. Information dump to see the names. We've been waiting for this for a while, and quickly, and it didn't take long from the document dumps to, you know, the mainstream media is just kind of, you know, we're going to move past it because it doesn't benefit them. Why doesn't it benefit them? Because they can't tie Trump to any of this. It's like, well, we can't tie Trump to this. So, I mean, you know, who cares? We want to talk about something else. You know, so mainstream media doesn't really care. The latest release also includes excerpts from witness depositions, a list of phone numbers of vendors and service people, several communications between attorneys, and about 50 pages of handwritten phone messages from Epstein's message book. So yeah, apparently there's quite a bit of stuff in this this document dump. The third round of documents from a lawsuit connected to Jeffrey Epstein that was made public Friday, and this article came out January 5th. That was yesterday. Holy crap, that was yesterday. Wow. Isn't that awesome? That's a takeaway of this, though. You know, I mean, we know that there's a lot of people that are associated with this that would much rather their name not be attached to Jeffrey Epstein. And I think that's why they, a couple of things. I mean, that's why there's so much information that's getting released and burying relevant information within irrelevant information. Not that any of it's really irrelevant, but, it's an aspect of what are people wanting to know. I mean, we pretty much already know what was going on. Enough of that has been released, enough investigation has gone on, has been done, that we know a lot about what was going on over there, about what this whole thing was about. But it was more of the who of what a lot of people wanted to know. A lot of the who. Who was involved in this? Who's some of the people in here? And, we still have a lot of, reading to do, a lot of putting this information together, a lot of digging through unnecessary stuff in order to find the relevant information. Yeah, good times. All right, moving on. Oh, yeah. This is good. This cracked me up. This really cracked me up. So, in the world of academia, and this is totally ignoring the fact that for the most part, whenever it comes to institutions of higher learning, a lot of them, and this one of the next article that we're going to cover is one of those particular institutes of higher education that was founded on, the Bible, Christianity, educating people. There you go. I mean, that's what most places of higher education, that's who actually found them, was Christian or Catholic, churches, and that's who founded them. And this college is one of them. This headline from the Daily Signal: Harvard out of the frying pan into the fire. Of course, they are talking about the Dr. Claudine Gay, who was ousted for plagiarism and actually had to step down from being the president of Harvard. Now here's the thing. Here's one of the things that I find wrong with this. All right, but before I get to that, let me back it up just a minute. Okay, plagiarism. That is taking somebody's work and trying to pass it off as your own. Okay, that's what plagiarism is, and this is something that in the world of academia is something that you just do not do. All right, it is not just frowned upon. It's a criminal offense. It is a removable offense. It's a terminating offense. It's something that will get you booted out and kicked out 10 times out of 10. All right. And as part of the, what would you call it? Okay, look, if a student would have done this, had a paper that they had to write, an essay or whatever, and they did not properly footnote, document, give credit where credit is due as what you're supposed to do, then they would have gotten kicked out of Harvard University. Kicked out. Out the door. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Bye, Felicia. No questions asked. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You're going straight to jail. That's it. That is the cardinal sin. No plagiarism. I don't remember if it was the first or the second attempt that Joe Biden had at running for presidency, but one of the times that he was, trying to become president, he was booted out of the race because he committed plagiarism. Had to step out. had to step down, had to, stop his campaign. And now you have this person, Claudine Gay, saying that, oh, well, yeah, I committed plagiarism. But I did what I could to, I'm trying to go through everything because apparently it's not one, apparently it's not two, it's not even three. There's a multitude of things of where she, plagiarized. And she's trying to go back through her work and add all the appropriate documentation and give all the credits where credits are due. And that's what she's trying to accomplish and say that, oh, well, I'm working on correcting my mistake. Hey, wait a second. Is this a course of action you would accept from one of your students? Oh, it's not. Here's my question. How can somebody the sphincter says, what? Hello, machine over there in YouTube land. Good to see you. The sphincter says, well, what are you talking about? Anywho, here's one of the things I don't understand. How can you, the president of Harvard, how can you sit there on your pedestal and enforce rules that you yourself has broke? That's one of my problems whenever it comes to law enforcement. These people, and this goes to, there's a reason I have problems with authority. There is. Hiding in the basement of a nondescript local restaurant. Oh yeah, really? And what are you finding down in that nondescript local restaurant? I'm kind of curious. I mean, I know something you may have found, and now I'm kind of curious. What are you doing down there? And why didn't you call me? Because, shenanigans and flashlights. I have flashlights. I got a dog. She can help guide us. Chalk, a little bit of chalk never helps. Rope. Jimmy Hoffa. That's what they found down in that basement. Oh God. Okay. Anyway, moving on. This is going to go downhill real quick. Oh boy. Anyway, there's a reason I have an issue with authority, okay? And it seems across the board, this is one of the things that we have, whether it be a police officer, whether it be representatives, whether it be Claudine Gay, whether it be any of these types of people, they think that for some reason they are the exemption of the rule. That's what they think. They're the exemption. They made the rule, but they don't have to follow it. They don't have to be held by it. They are held to a different standard. They are above the law. They are beside the law, whatever type of thing that they want to say, anything but being under the law. And for some reason, Claudine Gay decided by herself that she should be above the law, the rules. So after being demoted, and she wasn't fired, that's the thing that I find, appalling. It's like, okay, if she did something that would get somebody booted out of Harvard, if she did something that would make it to where if anybody else were to do it would have a really hard time, they would basically be blacklisted from, the Ivy League, from upper education and whatnot, wouldn't be able to get in anywhere because they committed the cardinal sin of higher education plagiarism, then she wasn't fired. She wasn't fired. She stepped down. She's still getting a paycheck from Harvard education. From Harvard. She's still getting a Harvard paycheck. She got demoted. She didn't get fired. She got demoted. What, are you kidding me? That's one of the things about this that I find that would just how do you expect anything to change if you're not actually holding people accountable? I mean, it's a good question, isn't it? They are rewarding bad behavior. Oh, but wait a second. Wait a second. We can't fire her. We can't do that. Because immediately upon being forced to step down, immediately upon the criticism of her committing the cardinal rule, doing what she did, she, and here's the thing, like I almost expected, it's not my fault type of a thing. It was oversight, hey, I made an error, whatever, you should overlook it, but she was playing the race card. Really? You mean to tell me you plagiarized? Not once, not twice, but multiple times. And the reason you're being forced to step down is because you're black. Really? And it had absolutely nothing to do with breaking the cardinal rule of higher education. It had absolutely nothing to do with the fact that she couldn't call a spade, call out and denounce the anti-Semitism that was going on her campus. No. That had absolutely nothing to do with it. It wasn't how poorly she handled the situation whenever she was sitting in front of Congress going, well, these Jew-hating Palestinians can do whatever the hell they want to on my campus. I'm not going to be, called out and criticized for being, anti-Palestinian. Let's let murderers, rapists, thieves, and killers, and all this other stuff, and baby killing. We'll just let what they did slide. I'm not going to denounce Palestinians' behavior on October 7th. Was it October 7th? I think it was October 7th. I'm not denouncing that, and I'm not going to talk badly against Palestinians because, heaven forbid, you can go after and beat up and make every Jew you come across afraid for their lives, but don't you dare single out a single Palestinian because they're Palestinian. We can't, not all of them are the same. We can't, we can't be like that, but all Israelites are, The machine puts in there and goes, when all else fails, go to race. And that's exactly what she did. She went to race. It wasn't that she handled the situation poorly and, couldn't. Why is it that every single time, every single interview, every single hour, a conservative has to denounce white supremacy in all of its forms all the time? I mean, how many times during the candidacy did President Trump have to denounce white supremacy and the Proud Boys? I don't know. I lost track. And it's going on with multiple people. I love Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek. Him, my top 3 candidates for the Republican nomination, and he's there. He's it. He's number 3, but he made the top 3, unlike Nikki Haley, whom, no, I think I'd vote for Chris Christie before I would Nikki Haley, but Vivek Ramaswamy, he's like, why? Josh Lomprez says that we need to stop the corruption in our own cities and states. Then our corrupt government wouldn't have any backing and no ground to stand on. Yeah, you're absolutely right on that one. The machine presenter goes, dude, he's of Indian descent, and the dumbasses asked him the question. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he's obviously not white. I mean, dude, Vivek Ramaswamy is obviously not right. And yes, they did. They wanted him to. But that's the thing. I mean, isn't that the game? Isn't that the game that, the Democrats play? Okay. He's a white Mexican. He's a white person of Indian descent. He's not dark enough. He's not Wesley Snipes. He's not this. He's not that. He's not whatever. Isn't that the game that they play? They try to whiteify everybody, call them all kinds of, Uncle Tom, all those type of things, just to take somebody's heritage away from them to where they're not part of the cool club anymore. Isn't that the game that they play? We say it all the time. But yeah, a guy who's obviously not white, not even close to being white, and here he is having to speak out against, white supremacy. In what world does that make any type of sense whatsoever? I don't get it. Black hair, brown eyes, and a wonderful permanent tan. Will you denounce white supremacy, right? Yeah. They called him a Nazi clone, really. That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. And we're actually going to be talking a little bit about this later in the program because, there's just some stuff that, we need to talk about with it. We really do. So, Claudine Gay had to step down from being president of Harvard because she can't denounce anti-Semitism. She is defending Palestinian people who are protesting for Palestinians. Palestine. It doesn't exist. Palestine doesn't exist, just so you know. Wouldn't denounce what they did, their actions. Yeah. Ignorance of history is magical. Do you know what the Nazis did to his people? I suspect not. The earth is flat. Yeah. Oh, I did read that. It's funny. Done. That we might get into that later. Anyway. Yeah. Good times. All right, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when I return, we're going to talk a little bit about guns. Yeah, a little bit of bang bang, a little bit of, the Supreme Court, a little bit about the Illinois gun ban, just a few things that I want to let you in on, that we're going to talk about here for a second. So yeah, just a couple minutes as soon as I find it. And I will be right back. Have you ever been so full of it your eyes are brown? Have you ever sat on the toilet but nothing comes out? Is a box of frosted shredded wheat just not doing the trick? Well, have I got the ultimate solution for you. Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. See, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse is that particular product that will break through the sphincter like the Kool-Aid Man through a brick wall. Oh yeah! No more irregularity, no more cramping, just good old nice flow. That's right. Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. Please use responsibly and use at home. This is a fast-acting product now available in Tropical Punch. I'm reading, I'm typing, I'm pulling up articles to get ready for this segment. I see that there's 6 seconds left. Holy crap, I gotta hurry up. I need to figure out what I gotta do. And y'all just seen the hourglass that flips upside down, you know, the I'm thinking scroll thing that goes on. Yeah, that's what my mind was doing while I was sitting here looking at the Stream Deck on what button I'm supposed to press and looking at the screen on what promo I was going to play. Like, absolutely, that took me like 3 or 4 seconds. That was great. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to dive into it. Brandon and I in the chat, we're having a good conversation. I'm not bringing it up yet, though. Something he was poking fun at. Actually, though, I mean, this will be part of the conversation here a little bit later. You know, not in a roundabout kind of way, you know. Talking about sovereign citizens, and I had to throw in there, you know, the sovereign citizen people are as smart as the flat earthers, and yeah, somehow that just blew up. I kind of had to laugh at it though. It's like, I mean, do these people not understand that there's like proof that the earth isn't flat? You know, looking at shadows. You know, I mean, I've not seen any disk shadows that the earth is cast on the moon whenever the sun's on the other side of us. It's always a spherical object. I've never seen a flat shadow. I don't understand how people say that, you know, we're flat. That doesn't make any sense to me. I've looked up in the sky. It was a bird. It was a plane. No, it was a planet. There were stars. There's the sun. And I'll be damned, every one of them is a ball. But for some reason, people believe that the earth is flat. Why would every single celestial object, with the exception of, you know, asteroids, which are, you know, just kind of, you know, oversized rocks, if you will, you know, but you have planets and you have moons and you've got, you know, the sun and, well, the second sun. I mean, technically speaking, we have 2 suns in our solar system. Have the same people that believe dinosaurs never existed, that they were planted by the devil to confuse people. That's funny. I still don't understand how people believe that dinosaurs existed so long before people that, you know, they didn't exist at the same time on the planet, and in which case, yeah, they did. Oh, you didn't know that? You know what we called them before? We called them dinosaurs? Dragons. It's a mythical creature, kind of like a unicorn. Well, a unicorn's in the Bible, and why don't you check out the scientific name of a rhinoceros? Guess what it is? Or at least one of them. Unicorn. Holy shit. You mean a rhinoceros is a unicorn? Yeah, I do. Yeah. Yeah. A rhinoceros is a unicorn. You're welcome. Scientific name. Look it up. Don't take my word for it. You'll find 2 of them because there's Rhinoceros bicornis and Rhinoceros unicornis, you know, signifying the 1 or 2 horn rhinoceros. Yeah, anyway. Anyway, let's go to it, because now I'm about ready to make some heads explode talking about this kind of crap. Holy cow! Yeah, we don't need that. Let's get into a couple articles. So first, was it last week, 2 weeks ago? I don't know. I brought up a and I put it into the magazine over on Flipboard, and in which case, if you head on over to Flipboard. If you head on over to thehohoshow.com, just click on that newsfeed tab. You'll see the magazine over there on Flipboard. That is where I put all of the articles that I use in the show. You can head on over there. The only thing that I don't like about Flipboard, and I'm going to be honest with you, you can't just click on it. You know, they make you, for some reason, log into, Flipboard in order to read the articles and, whatever. I mean, hey, it's a good source for news. It really is. It's a good place to go. It's a great news hub. No, they are not a sponsor of the show. I just like what they do. But anyway, you can head on over there. Check it out. You'll see all the articles. And, I put in there an article about what our founding fathers believed on the Second Amendment, throwing in there, the 29th Federalist paper in there and all kinds of things that our founding fathers said, when discussing, supporting, backing, and putting in there as their reason as to why we need the Second Amendment, why it is important, and basically what it boiled down to is they didn't get done going on a hunting trip. They got done fighting the biggest military on the face of the planet with guns against tyranny, and we won our freedom from them. Yes, that's what we just got done doing. And they said, that's important enough that we're going to codify that in our Constitution. But this headline says, and this is from Ammo Land, Shooting Sports News headline: fact check, the founding fathers did know about repeating arms. Now, this is something, I'll tell you what, Mr. Machine over there in YouTube land, you can vouch for this one. You know more about this than what I do. You are more familiar with this than what I am. I mean, I know on an academic level that, yeah, our founding fathers weren't stupid. No, they may not have envisioned the saw, but they very much knew, understood, believed, and had, what's the word I'm looking for? Compelling evidence that, yeah, eventually we're going to get to something pretty stinking amazing. But if the military can use it as far as, weaponry, armory, well, we think the American people should have access to it too. I mean, that's in short what our founding fathers believed in. And back during the Revolutionary War, they did have repeating arms. It, not everything was just, a musket that you had to do all that stuff with, that you had to, put your little ball of powder in, your paper, and then your little lead ball, and then get your plunger out and, do that kind of stuff with it. And then do it again. That wasn't the only thing. I mean, they had repeating arms back during the Revolutionary War. That was it was new technology. It's amazing how some of our greatest and terrible inventions come through the fog of war. A movie that, I still have yet to watch and need to. It's got a really good actor in it. I like watching him. In my opinion, I think he's an underrated actor. Don't ask me what his name is, because I couldn't even tell you. but he was the Scarecrow in Batman Begins with, Christian Bale's Batman. He played in Thomas Shelby in Peaky Blinders. He is, and now I can't even remember what the freaking guy's name is. The guy that with the atomic, the guy that made the bomb, the bomb, the guy that made that. All right, let me go into Google. All right, you guys are going to love this search. Okay, who the guy that made the big bomb? Okay. Oh wow. Okay, so if the FBI come knocking on our door, then Oppenheimer, that's the guy. And what, the Oppenheimer, the movie, I don't remember what guy that is playing that, but the movie, but Oppenheimer. Still haven't seen that yet. But some of our most fantastic and terrifying inventions came from war. And yeah, the repeating rifle is one of them. Yeah. Did you know that? I mean, it was a jet. I don't remember, but it was one of the Wright brothers was actually still alive whenever the jet was made. I heard that not that long ago. I didn't realize the guy was still alive whenever that happened. I mean, wow. The guy that made the airplane was still alive whenever it rockets. It's like, holy crap. That's just amazing. Anyway, but yeah, our founding fathers weren't stupid. They understood things. They were a hell of a lot smarter than what any of us would like to give them credit for. I mean, come on, dude. I am older than Google. I am older than the computer. And to have, now I want to put this into perspective for you guys. Okay. I really do. I want to put this into perspective. All right. This thing right here, that's a bad example. This thing right here, okay? This is a 128 gigabyte little SanDisk SD card. And they come even smaller than that. They come in these things right here called really? They come in these micro SD cards too, and these are just tiny, like my fingernail, it's just a little bit bigger than my fingernail, and that's impressive, but there was a time, I got it, hold on a second. Josh put in, he goes, WTF, I posted your show on Facebook and they removed it, lol. That's freaking hilarious. I mean, holy crap, I haven't gotten anything good yet. I mean, what was the title of this show? What did I title this thing? The what Constitution? Yeah. And they've removed it already? Am I even going live on Facebook right now? I got to check, because you said that and now it's like, now I wonders. Yeah, it says that I'm live on Facebook. All right, well. All right, then. That's just weird. Huh. I mean, don't even got closed caption. Look at that. Wonder how good it is. How far behind is this? Hey, look, dude, that's even coming. That's pretty good. That's funny. Yeah, he says, Josh says that they don't like me much. Apparently not, man. I mean, I would expect that to be taken down off of my page. I mean, good grief. I mean, guys, I know that, hell, last month, a couple months ago, I had to take a break. And I pretty well took a month off. I reading all these news, and all right, guys, I've been doing this now for like 7 years, and Brandon, I know that you can, you know exactly what I'm saying on this. You've been doing this longer than I have. You know, one of the things that I love about doing, one of the things it's a love-hate thing, kind of, you know, a love-hate kind of thing, doing the show, doing the podcast, doing this. I'm plugged in, constantly plugged in, you know, reading the news, going through articles, listening to other podcasts, listening to celestial radio stations, satellite radio stations. You know, I mean, I'm plugged in. I see all the crap that's going on, plugged in way more than I ever thought I would be, plugged in a lot. Holy cow. You also have no idea how much information that I consume, how much information Brandon consumes just for a 1 to 2 hour podcast. A 1 to 2 hour, once a week show. I consume a lot of information. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been paying attention a lot longer than what I've been doing this show. You know, it weighs on you. I mean, holy cow, it weighs on you. And yeah, I was getting angry. You know, getting angry, getting frustrated, getting fed up. It's like, how do you people not understand what we need to do to right this ship? I mean, guys, do you understand that we are in a civil war right now? I mean, holy cow. You know, I mean, yeah, we're for the most part, we're not pulling guns out and firing on people. We're not doing that yet, but we're in a civil war. You know, I mean, right now it's being fought on social media. You know, it's being fought on, you know, different social media platforms. It's being fought over the control of information right now. That's what we're fighting over. We're in it. And you better hope to God it doesn't turn hot, because if you do, we're getting invaded, just so you know. I mean, we are. I mean, laugh if you want to, but we're getting invaded. You know, we're going to be invaded by, on one coast by, you know, China. We're going to be invaded on the other coast by Russia. We're going to be invaded on our southern coast, you know, from Mexico. And they've already started. They started the invasion a while ago. You know, I mean, how many people do we got crossing the border right now because they won't put a fence up? You know, the Mexican government can put the military on their border, and but we have to play nice. Anyway, let's get back into this. Before I go off on too much of a tangent, what am I talking about? Oppenheimer. That's who I was talking about. More than that, I was talking about, let's get off that Facebook page. I don't need to be looking at that anymore. Yeah, our grandfathers did know about the repeating arms. Yes, but there's a reason I brought that up, and that is because of this article right here. Headline, okay, there we go. Supreme Court declines to put hold... Shit. Something fell down, my bad. Supreme Court declines to put hold on Illinois gun ban. You see here, okay, now y'all know about this Illinois gun ban. So, you know, we were supposed to, as those who live in the great state of Illinois, as of January 1st, actually by January 1st, so as of the end of last month, December 31st of 2023, we were supposed to have registered our assault weapons. Not just assault weapons, but we are also supposed to be registering our, you know, large capacity magazines. You know, every FOID card holder that is a firearms identification card, you know, and the assumption is that if you have an FOID card, as in you took the time to get the application, to fill it out, to take your picker, to get fingerprinted and have them send you through a background check, which didn't bother me at all because I had once, you know, I had a Class CDL holder. I pulled hazmat, explosives. Yeah, and this was post 9/11, and yeah, my stuff is, you know, my fingerprint and data and information have been run through Interpol and FBI and CIA and Homeland Security, everybody, you know, I mean, shit. doing a background check on me takes a while, people. Let me tell you. Multiple country, multiple provinces. I have traveled through 47 of the 48 continuous United States. Maine is the only one I'm missing. I am on a lot of databases. The more databases you're on, the longer it takes for, a background check to go through. See, I don't know if y'all know this, but here's what happens. You see, with a background check is what they do. It's like pinging. That's what they do. They ping your location. They send it out through the through the database multiverse, and for every ping they get back, they got to research it. That's what they got to do. They send it out through the ether. And then if they get a ping back, then they got to go, oh, what information does he have? Oh, what information does he have? That's what they got to do. They send it out a bit. And, the more people have you on their databases, well, that takes a while. It's not because I'm a big guy and I have my own orbit. That ain't the reason at all. That's not the reason that the background checks take so long, because it takes them so long to take a lap around me. No, I'm in a lot of databases. I am. So background checks take a while for me. And then in the great state of Illinois, whenever you get your FOID card to say, even though there's this awesome document right here that says that I have the right to keep and bear arms given to me by God, protected by the Second Amendment in the Constitution, it amazes me that I have to go, Father, may I? Can I exercise my God-given freedom, constitutionally protected right? But that's what we got to do. And then whenever we get a gun, you got to do another background check. You got to fill out more paperwork. You got to fill out paperwork for an FOID card. You got to fill out paperwork to get a gun, to get another gun, to get another gun. You got to do all that, and it's a hassle. And the big thing is about this is that, whenever I buy a gun, the gun that I'm buying gets registered. I get my FOID card, and then I go and I buy a gun, whether that be a rifle, whether that be a shotgun, whether that be, a 22 pistol, whatever. I got to fill out more paperwork to buy it. I got to go through another background check to buy it. So mind you, for every gun that you purchase, it's 2 rounds of paperwork that you got to do, and basically it's the same damn paperwork. Hey, can I buy a gun? Yeah. And then whenever you buy the gun is, oh yeah, by the way, can I buy a gun? Actually, I guess the first round of paperwork is, can I get a gun? That's the FOID. And then before you buy the gun, it's, hey, can I buy a gun? Because it's 2 different questions. Like, may I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Or, can I go to the bathroom? I don't know. Can you go to the bathroom? Stupid teachers just want to piss on their desk, don't you? But no, that's what you got. And then it's, Constitution gives me the right to carry. But I got to go, just like Tiny Tim or Stuart Little, whatever the hell that guy's name is. Stuart Little, what was his name? Tim? Stuart, something. Can I have another Tiny Tim? I don't know what his name is. It was a Dickinson thing, I think. I don't know. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That guy. Oh, hello, Dave, over there in Facebook land. Good to see you. He says, I haven't bought any weapons yet, but I'm looking forward to that day. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, good to see you over there. So, it's crazy. But here's the thing, though, and this was one of the pushbacks about this bill, is that There is so much flippin' confusion, it's not even funny. The article reads that for the second time in 6 months, Dave puts in here, isn't it Oliver? Yes, Oliver Twist. That's right. Please, sir, may I have more? Yes, thank you, Dave. Oliver Twist, that's who that was. But the headline says that for the first time in 6 months, the U.S. Supreme Court on Thursday denied a request from gun rights advocates to put a hold on Illinois' sweeping gun ban. The latest decision coming as the deadline approaches for the owners to register prohibited firearms they own prior to the law's effective date. It was the second court setback this week for opponents of the ban on high-powered guns and high-capacity magazines. On Monday, the U.S. 7th Supreme Court of Appeals in Chicago denied a request from the National Association of Gun Rights and a Naperville gun dealer for a review by the full court of November's ruling by a 3-judge panel that kept the gun ban in place. Let me stop right there for a second. Machine puts in here, he goes, it's a good thing it forced us Supreme Court to do their job. Yeah, it's forced the U.S. Supreme Court to do their job. Of course, they denied it. They're owned by the governor. Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing, though. That panel, it was just a 3-judge panel, not of the entirety of the whatever. Anyway, reading on. The Supreme Court in May declined a request by plaintiffs to block the state and local gun bans until the Seventh Circuit appellate case was adjudicated. Anyway, it goes on to put here that the law is very, they explain that it's like, oh, in some places it doesn't say that you have to register a magazine and others that you do. How are you going to register a magazine? This makes absolutely no sense because it's impossible to register a magazine. Why? Because a magazine doesn't have a serial number on it. How in the world are you supposed to enforce this? How are you supposed to do anything with this? None of this makes any sense whatsoever. That's basically what it comes down to. Governor Gravy Sweats is saying something, is putting a rule in there that makes no sense, is unenforceable, something you can't keep track of. How can they let this law stand whenever there's got more holes in it than what Swiss cheese has? So it was kind of surprising when the U.S. Supreme Court did not put a stop to this deadline until, us, the people, gave them some freaking clarity as far as the law that was written. Now, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. I'm going to switch gears a little bit on here. Going to switch gears. Oh, yeah, here's that article I was looking for. And this is some of the information actually I was just talking about. But this headline from Fox News. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. Illinois gun groups report confusion, civil disobedience after deadline passes to register assault weapons. Only 12.3 thousand disclosures filed as of December 31st, 2023, according to state police data. This thing goes on to state that, yes, 112,350 disclosures filed as of December 31st, 2023, but another 29,357 disclosures were in the process of being completed. Now, here's the thing. There's over 2.4 million FOID card holders in the state. Let me say that again. I don't think you heard me. Let's call this. Hey, thank you. Actually, I'm glad you did the math for me. over 2.4 million Void card holders in the state of Illinois. Yet only 29 plus another 12. What's that? 41? Yeah, 41. 141. Let's call it 142,000 disclosures filed. 2.4 million total FOID card holders, only 142,000 disclosures filed. And Brandon puts in here 2.48 million firearm owners. That's just what the article says. You know, I was like, yeah, I know, you know, but yeah, that's what the article says. You know, 2.4, but anyway. That's 1.4% of the FOID card holders in the state that are actually complying with this. That's it. Now here's something I want to tell. I want to explain something to you for a minute, okay? If we would actually take, you know what? We're going to take a quick break. And when I return, we're going to get into something. Just a couple minutes. Be right back. Do you love your occasional Mexican dish or your musical fruit? Are you tired of walking by family members and crop dusting them? Well, if this has ever happened to you, might I introduce you to Tampons brand butt plugs. Tampons brand butt plugs is that particular type of butt plug that allows you to walk in public in confidence knowing that you're not going to accidentally crop dust somebody. Tampons brand butt plugs now with the plastic applicator.
Not just for women anymore.
Tampons brand butt plugs. And we're back. Dave says, loving the background of the studio. Looks great. Nice new graphics too. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And hello, Brian, over there in YouTube land. Good to see you. And yes, you can thank Brandon of the Machine Radio Show for that. I mean, I got the stuff like, you know, the background thing, you know, the bricks and whatnot. I got that like a while ago. I mean, holy cow, I got it a while ago. but the machine is the one who actually put that up. You know, I was like, this is going to be a pain. I needed help. Couldn't do it alone. Oh, I bought that stuff like 3 years ago. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, it's been in the studio for a while, but it's been hanging, trying to stretch it out for a while. But anyway, yeah. So, you know, thank you goes to Brandon for that, putting that up, you know, because he's awesome like that. So anyway, let's talk about something, guys. Let's talk about something. All right. And I want you to keep in mind the whole 2.48 million firearm owners, you know, FOID card holders in the state. I want you to keep in mind that only 142,000 of those 2.48 million FOID card holders has registered, disclosed, disclosure file things. You know, keep that in mind, okay? I want you to keep those numbers in mind. Because we are a nation. Okay, look, whenever it comes to the whole which came first, the chicken or the egg, it's pretty clear. Okay? Read your history. It was the states that came first. Okay? States came first. The states were here. And then the heads of states, you know, the state representatives, their fancy people got together, and then they came up with the Constitution, or they came up with the Constitution, which formed the federal government and the rules by which they were to function by. Okay? They put it together. And now what it amounted to, you know, and this kind of goes back to that whole sovereign citizen thing. You know, we had the Magna Carta before it was the Constitution. I think I could be wrong on the name. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Because the point is that it wasn't enough. There wasn't enough government, as much as I hate to say that. There wasn't enough government. The government had some powers, but it was very, very limited, and they had no teeth. So they really couldn't even enforce the things that they wanted to enforce. And what happened is that we had some disputes going on. We had some infighting going on, okay? And it was debated that, you know, we need to give the federal government a little bit more teeth so that this way they can, you know, basically be a good referee and keep the infighting among the states from going on, okay? That's what it was about. You know, that's why the whole Commerce Clause, which apparently doesn't pertain to health insurance, but that's why the Commerce Clause was put in there, was because, you know, we need to keep the infighting down to a minimum. You know, keep the infighting down, keep everything, you know, no tariffs and crap like that between the various states. So we need a bigger government. Now let me tell you this. Okay? We are a nation. This is not a tagline. Okay? This is not a bumper sticker. This is a core belief, foundation of what our nation, our government was built upon. Okay? A government of the people, by the people, for the people. The federal government didn't come first and then it was the federal government formed the states. No, that's not how this went down. It was the states were first and they made the Constitution, which formed the government. Let me ask you a question. Would the states form a government that was more powerful than the states themselves? want you to think about that. Would they build a government that was more powerful than themselves? No. I mean, really, think about this. Would they? No. I used to work at a gas station many moons ago. And in this gas station, we had things called, scratch-off lottery tickets, okay? And there was a guy that came in there, and he was, he needed to call that, 1-800 number on the back. He needed to call that number. He was just flat, addicted to, he loved playing the scratch-off tickets. He had, a system, with choosing numbers that are, of this range and this, that, and the other, this type of ticket he would buy and, within this range. And he had it all figured out, had it all figured out. I asked him one day, I go, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. And I want your honest answer on this. Okay. Would Missouri spend all this money on these scratch-off tickets with cash prizes and free tickets and prizes and whatnot? Would they do any of that if this book of scratch-off tickets was going to make them lose money? If producing these scratch-off tickets was going to be a net loss to the state, would they do it? The answer is obvious, isn't it? No, of course they wouldn't. Why would they? That's stupid. It's kind of like the whole, a guy who owns a business, okay? You don't own a business unless you intend on making money, but for some reason we've demonized the whole making a profit off of a business. That's what you're in business for, is to make a profit. If you want security and a paycheck, then you go out and you get a job. If you want, something more, then you become an entrepreneur. If you're willing to put up the risk and the equity and the capital and do all of that stuff, then you should get the reward. But if the state wasn't going to make money off of these lottery tickets, then the state wouldn't be doing these lottery tickets. It's stupid simple. It's stupid simple. Same thing goes here. The states made the federal government. The states is not going to make an entity, a government entity that is stronger than themselves. Hello. Did you not read the 10th Amendment? There's 18 enumerated powers that the federal government was given. Outside of those 18 enumerated powers, all of those other powers that weren't specifically given to the government or specifically restricted for the state to have, all of those went to the states and the people respectively. That's what the 10th Amendment says. So like the whole Department of Education, that ain't the federal government's job. That's the state's job. Brian puts in and goes, same way with all the gambling machines. You're absolutely right. It's the same. If they didn't make money off of them, they wouldn't put them out there. They did it to make money. And you actually think somehow you're going to gain the system. Whatever. You're an idiot. I mean, hey, I'm just being honest with you. You're an idiot. But I said all that to say this. We are governed. No, wait, hold on. Let me retract that. They governed by our consent. They have their power from the consent of the governed. That's putting aside that this assault weapon ban is unconstitutional. And hence, if it's unconstitutional, that means it's illegal. That means that it's a law that I do not have to follow because it blatantly goes against, the Constitution. I mean, you don't have to be a Harvard scholar to know that an assault weapons ban is an infringement on my Second Amendment right. It doesn't take a Harvard grad. It doesn't take somebody who has a doctorate in Bravo Sierra to figure out that an infringement is an infringement is an infringement. And whenever you have, 1.4%, that's 98.6% of the people, of the FOID card holders in Illinois, are not consenting to this assault weapons ban. J.B. Pritzker does not have our consent to take away our Second Amendment rights. Blatantly. And it's not even close. It's not even close. He doesn't have our consent. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what let me look this up real quick. Let's see. State of Illinois. State of Illinois population. 2023 is right there. Okay, let's look at that. And the number's going down. Oh, crap. 12 million. Wow, really? There's that many stupid people still living in this state? 12 million? Almost 12.5 million? Really? Is that? Almost 13. Nope, almost 12.5. All right, so what I was about to say, I can't really say that. But anyway, we only have, of FOID card holders, only have about 1.4% people that are actually adhering to it. Doesn't have our consent. It's pretty obvious, don't you think? I think it's pretty obvious. This headline from, get rid of that. What's that one? I already did that one. All right, here's one. Nope, did that one. Here we go. Have you ever seen a headline that was so ridiculous you were just like, huh? Really? I mean, are you stupid? I mean, really, are you? This headline from CNN, nearly 300,000 lives could be saved in the next decade if states followed California's example on gun laws, a study says. I mean, do I really have to point out the obvious? I mean, do I have to? I want to ask you a question, okay? Have y'all's ever been to one of those mean and, have y'all's ever been to a gun store? Okay. Have y'all's ever been to a firing range? Have y'all's ever been to, like one of them gun expos where there's like all kinds of people around there that are buying and selling guns? I don't know what you'd call it. I don't remember what the name of it is. But have y'all's ever been to one of those? Have you ever? Have y'all's ever been there? Have you? You know what you don't have at these places? Robberies. mass shootings. Now look, the left has a thing that they do where they don't let a tragedy go to waste, and the bodies aren't even cooled before they're talking about, more gun laws and stricter gun laws and confiscations and registrations and everything else. Okay. But I want to ask you a question. Okay. When was the last time you heard about a school shooting in Texas? When was the last time you heard a school shooting in Virginia? When was the last time you heard about a school shooting or a mass shooting in general in Florida? When was it? Virginia especially, because I think, they have some of the loosest gun laws in the nation. And this is even including Texas. The machine puts in there and says, a study also said that if you're offended by stinky people, that you have right-wing views. They moved the definitions, the goalposts so much. Yeah, but even by their own definitions, honestly, when was the last time you heard about any of these things? But anyway, my point is sound. Okay. There's not been a robbery at a gun show, at a gun shop, a gun store. You just don't have that. You don't have mass shootings in Texas, in Virginia, in Florida, places that have relaxed gun laws. You don't see gun shootings there. Where do you find the most shootings, acts of random violence? Where do you find that at? Chicago. With, a city that's the third largest city in the U.S. and some of the strictest gun laws in the nation. You have such high crime, violent crime, gun crime, the whole 9 yards in the entire nation. Strictest gun, one of the strictest gun laws in the whole country. And you're going to sit there and tell me that gun laws save lives. That you're going to save 300,000 lives in the next decade if other states were to follow California. Really? Really? You know where you do find these kind of crimes at? Before I tell you that, let me tell you a story. I'm going back a couple years. First, I want to look up something. I'm going to ask Google a question. Okay. Let me ask you. I had to ask you the question. 2008. Okay. 2008. Okay. 2008. There was a shooting in a theater. The perpetrator of said shooting, and I'm pretty sure it falls within the mass shooting category. I'm pretty sure it does. I don't remember how many died. I don't recall. But this person left his home and then went to a movie theater. He didn't go to a movie theater because he wanted to watch his favorite movie that was just coming out, The Dark Knight. That's not the reason why he left his home. He left his home with a gun because he wanted to start some shit. That's what he wanted to do. And what I'm about to tell you is factual information. They took this guy's travel information, the GPS data off of his phone. They tracked his whereabouts on said day of the moments and minutes leading up to the shooting. And they have found this out. This is factual information. You can fact check me if you want to. I dare you. I double dog dare you. But this guy did not go to the first theater he came across. No. He passed the first one by. He didn't even commit the shooting at the second theater he came across. Nay, he passed that one by. It wasn't until the third one that he finally stopped, went inside, and opened fired. You want to know what separated the first two theaters that he passed and the last one that he went to? Do you want to know what separated it? I'll give you three guesses, and the second two don't count, because I'm pretty sure you'll get this on your first guess. Wait, what's that? Yes, you're right. You see, the last place that the guy went to had a little sign on it that said gun-free zone. That's what it had. The first one had no such sign. The second one had no such sign. The third one had a gun-free zone. Criminals don't give a shit about your gun-free zone signs. They don't care. One of the shootings that happened a while back ago, there was like two other schools or three other schools, or definitely one other school that this person intended on going to, but one of them had, two of them definitely had too good a security. The body count wasn't going to be high enough. The perpetrator decided not to go to those schools. The bottom line is, guns don't kill people. Gun-free zones do. I'm sure Dave over there with Dumbing It Down with Dave can, maybe he is aware of this. There was a time, in my grandpa's day, in my dad's day even, that, you go out to the high school, and every pickup you see, you got a gun rack in the back window with a rifle and a shotgun and maybe both. States down in the South. Gun racks in the truck. And I'm sure that even over half of these trucks didn't even have the door locked. And there's one or two guns right there in the gun rack, all forgot, for everybody to see. Gotten everybody to see. You know what they didn't have? I mean, they had arguments. They had fistfights. They didn't have gun shootings. It wasn't a thing. What we have now, it doesn't have anything to do with guns. Guns ain't the bad guys. A gun is an inanimate object. It's a tool. You can't even call it a weapon. If you call a gun a weapon, you got to call everything a weapon. A hammer is a weapon. A knife is a weapon. A car is a weapon. A pencil is a weapon. In the right hands, anything is a weapon. It doesn't matter. It's the value of life. We live in a society now where, and I'm sorry, it's like I try to separate, the different things. But, the fact of the matter is, if you don't, Dave puts in there, goes, growing up in Brooklyn, New York, I didn't see much in the back in pickup trucks or gun racks. But in upstate New York, I see a lot of pickups. Not sure if I see a lot of gun racks in those trucks. I see a lot of steel-plated toolboxes, though. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I get what you said. Back in the day, it was different, and it was. Back in the day, we valued life more than what people do today. We don't put that value on life. And one of the reasons is we are a nation that now has forgotten our way. We were built on Judeo-Christian beliefs, a belief in a higher power, a belief in it. You got people say this like, oh, it's not breaking the law if you get away with it. If you don't believe that you will be accountable for what you do, regardless of whether you get caught, then, I mean, law of the jungle applies. Law of the jungle applies. And yes, Dave, he says that the issue is not guns. The issue is mental illness. Yeah. You know, but it's deeper than that, though, because, I mean, we're a nation. Yeah, I mean, mental illness is on the rise. Holy crap. You know, but part of that thing is, it's like, dude, okay, I'm sure you and I, Dave, you know, we understand this. You know, back in my day, you know, my parents were not my friend. You know, it took time for that relationship to grow into what it became in my adult years. It took some time. You know, mental illness is not necessarily being psychotic or mentally regarded. I think it means inability to cope logically and pragmatically with reality. Yes. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But back in my day, you know, I didn't rule the house. My parents did. You know, back in my day, I didn't have a TV in my room. I wasn't given free reign over what was watched in the living room. That TV belonged to my parents, and they would let me, you know, it's okay. I know what you meant. They let me play until it was time for them to watch what they wanted. I did not have free reign of the house. You know, I got to do what I got to do as long as it was not an inconvenience to my parents. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it was, you know, what I'm trying to say is my feelings didn't matter. I mean, I grew up in a day and age where, you know, my parents was very clear on the fact that, you know, life is hard. You don't always get your way. Your feelings don't matter. Facts over feelings. Get over it. Walk it off. Now, look, I'm not saying that to talk down about my parents. Thank God they did that the way that they did. I am grateful for that because you know what it taught me? That people don't really give a shit about me. You know, strangers don't care about you. That's not to say I didn't have a good regard for life, but it was a fact that I don't matter. If I wanted to do this, that, and the other, well, it didn't matter. Today's children, however, everything is given to them on a golden platter. They don't have to work for anything anymore. I mean, oh my God. Kids nowadays could not live in the world I grew up in. Holy cow. Have to play with that, you know, in that place called outside. You know, you go to a playground where everything is, and I swear that, you know, our parents were out to kill us, okay? Because everything on the playground was made to kill you, or at least make you sick for a week or break bones, okay? I mean, we had a slide that was made out of metal that would take your hide off your butt in the summertime. You know, we had the merry-go-round where it was the other kid's job to push you around as fast as they can until you puke or until you flew off of it, which is why every kid in my generation knows that the Big Bang Theory is a lie. Just so you know, the Big Bang Theory is a lie. Every kid who's ever played on the playground equipment, played on the merry-go-round, we all know this. It's called physics. Science. We know this. Big Bang Theory is a lie. Science. We learned this playing on a merry-go-round. We had lawn darts. It's like regular darts, but instead of like a regular dart, it was a dart that was like this freaking big, 2 feet long, that was a solid steel spike with plastic fins that went round and round. And is what you did is you threw it up in the air as high as you can, and you tried to hit your friends with it and then get out of the way at the same time. We had toys that was designed to kill us. That's what we had when I was growing up. It made us tough. It made us walk it off. Get it cut, rub some dirt in it. We have kids nowadays that are catered to every step of the way. They haven't, what I'm trying to say is they haven't learned how to deal with no. We have kids today that hasn't learned how to deal with losing. You get a participation trophy. You don't learn to deal with losing. I'm not good enough. Exactly, Dave. We also didn't get trophies for losing and just showing up. Abso-freaking-lutely. You know, in order to get a trophy, you had to prove yourself to be the best. Back in my day, that's the way it was. You didn't just get a trophy for showing up. You got a trophy for being the best. It's called the first place, man. That's what we had. Oh, you're upset that you didn't get a trophy? Do better. You want your promotion? Be better than your colleagues. You want this, that, or the other? Be better. I mean, we wouldn't have this crap right now with, people arguing on what pronouns to use if they grew up in my generation. Oh, wait, what, you're a Z, Zim, Zer, whatever? You know what? Shut up. I'm not catering to you. Shut your hole. I don't care if you consider yourself that, but don't expect me to play into your delusion. You ain't restricting my speech just because you feel uncomfortable. Oh, boo-hoo. Look, I don't care if you are. It doesn't matter. It makes no never mind to me. I don't care. But back in my day, Arnold Schwarzenegger taught me in Kindergarten Cop, boys have one thing, girls have another, and that's just all there is to it. There is no in between. There's only two kinds of plumbing in this world, that's it. Your chromosomes only go two ways, XX, XY, that's it. There's not an option 3. Y'all's ever seen the TV series Bones? You know what I've never seen her describe? Well, this is a male body, but obviously, according to their DNA, that, this was a man trapped in a woman's body, or vice versa. I've never seen that play out in the TV series Bones. It's always, this is a female, this is a male, and I know this because I'm a doctor and I'm freaking smart. Oh, gee. How did we get so confused? Because we haven't learned to deal with things yet. Just haven't learned how to do that yet. Holy crap. We're beginning to run out of time. All right, I'm going to take one quick break. We've got 20 minutes left of the show. A little bit right around in there. One more break, and then whenever I get back, we're going to be talking a little bit about this. We're going to talk about Biden, the border. We're going to talk about this whole 14th Amendment thing. We're going to clear the air on some things. And, yeah, this is, isn't it amazing? I'm going to leave you with this before we go on break. Isn't it amazing how first of all, our government is a constitutional republic. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You know what it doesn't say in that? Democracy. It's not in there. We're not a democracy. We are a constitutional, representative republic, which is a republic. We're not a democracy. We are a republic. You see, democracy is majority rules. A democracy is mob rule. When 51% can determine what the other 49 does, what you have is mob rule. Our founding fathers did not want mob rule. Why? Because mob rule, democracy always ends up going the same direction. It always turns into tyranny, and it always ends up turning into 51% no longer contribute to society, as in they live off of the system. This is a very bad thing for any nation. You want to know what causes a nation to fall, to collapse, to crumble? It's that type of thing. Democracies don't stand the test of time any more than a dictatorship standing the test of time, any more than communism or socialism or fascism stand the test of time. Show me a successful communist country and I'll call you a stinking fool. They don't stand the test of time. Oh, the first 5 years it was great. Yeah, what happened on year 6? Oh, everything collapsed. Is that a success for a country to only last, 5 years? No. Is it a successful communist, socialist, fascist nation if it only lasts 10 years? No. America has been around for how long? And we are a republic. And now all of a sudden they're changing the definition. They're changing what our country is. They're trying to brainwash us into believing that we are a democracy and not a republic because for some reason the sheep think. Let me just point it out to you like this. A democracy is two pedophiles and a parent arguing and voting on the age of consent. Democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Oh, yeah. It might be really, really good for the wolves. But you want to know who it sucks for? The sheep. And they're powerless to do anything about it. Why? Because the 51% has spoken. Mob rule. Is it right? Nope. But it doesn't matter because they don't have anything protecting them. But what do we have here in America? We have a Constitution. Oh. And that's supposed to safeguard our freedom no matter what the 51% says. That's what separates a republic from a democracy. There's right and there's wrong. You can be in the majority and still be wrong. Be right back. Have you ever sat down on your throne just to find out that you are dangerously low on shift tickets, making it to where you have to make a mad dash to the store just to pick yourself up some? If this has ever happened to you, pick up the #1 most rated toilet paper found in Uranus and use what the professionals use. Angel Soft. See, I'm just not a fan of some toilet paper. Some of them it's like putting a pillow between your nice rosy. Others, like John Wayne toilet paper, it's like using sandpaper. But do what the professionals use. Use the type of toilet paper that is the Goldilocks of brands, Angel Soft. Available wherever toilet paper is sold. All right, and we are back. So, good times ahead of us, right? Good times. Got to believe that, I guess. We got mainly one topic, but we do have some things to discuss in this. And if this doesn't make you mad, if this doesn't absolutely terrify you, then yeah. Because this should terrify every American. It really should. What's going on should terrify you, especially considering this is being perpetrated by the Democrats saying that they love democracy and yet tearing down democracy to get what they want. Isn't it amazing how the Democrats are notorious for doing that? Tearing down democracy because they don't get what they want. They claim to be Democrats, which is democracy. That's what they're advocating for. And when democracy doesn't give them what they want, then they rule by fiat. They rule by tyranny. They rule by being a dictator. The articles that I talked about at the very beginning of the show from the satire news website, the Babylon Bee, kind of, comes full circle in this segment. So let's go ahead and get right into it. This headline, look, I bring this up for a reason, okay? I think everybody is aware of what's going on down at our southern border. Headline from Newsmax, Rasmussen poll, 57% think great replacement theory is real. Absolutely. How could we not? How many thousands of people, illegals, not just from, Mexico, but from Honduras, from Guatemala, from Afghanistan, from China, from all kinds of other nations. How many people have been just flooding across our southern border? I think there's like 8,000 person caravan right now. And you have, our federal government is saying, no, we're not going to, close the border. We're not going to protect the border. We're not going to defend the border. No, we're not. We'll spend all kinds of money over in Ukraine. We'll spend all kinds of money over at Taiwan to help protect their border, which, by the way, where do they have the constitutional authority to take our money, as in yours and mine, and give them to Ukraine, to protect their border? Now, look, wait, hold, okay. I'm all for helping out Ukraine, sure. But if it wasn't for the corruption, if it wasn't for, the fact that how many millions and billions of dollars that they can't even account for, and yet they want more and more of our money. They're wanting to double and in some cases triple the amount of money that they've already gotten in new money going to them because they can't keep track of their money. And yet they're trying to tell us that, oh, no. We don't have, there's no corruption here. There's nothing to see here. There's no here. There's no there. Uh-huh. Expect me to believe that? Uh-huh. But how do they have the authority to send my money over to Ukraine and Taiwan and whatever country they want to defend their border, all the while ignoring our own? You know, and that's, you know, let's take into account the fact that, you know, one of the 18 enumerated powers, as in this is the job that our federal government is supposed to do. This is one of the reasons why we pay taxes in the first place, is to secure our own southern border. And meanwhile, they are ignoring one of their actual jobs, and it's not their job. Let's get this straight. It's not their job to defend the border. It's not their job. It's not their job. You know, that would indicate that it's a choice. It's not their job. It's their duty. It's what they're supposed to do. It is like, it's specifically in the job description. It's specifically, this is why you are here. You're not supposed to be over there spending money on their wall. You're supposed to be here spending money on ours. Like, this is one of the things you're supposed to do. This is why you're here. Don't you think it's interesting that we know that there's 8,000 in the caravan? Where does that number come from? How does anyone know? What mileage does that cover? How do 8,000 people travel all at the same time? Is there an immigrant web like the dark web? Seems odd and tad suspicious. Yeah. You know, but I mean, we've been seeing this for years, though. I mean, huge groups of people, you know, that is, you know, been coming across the border. Now here's the thing, Dave, you know, and good point that you bring up. But I mean, here's the thing. You've seen these people come across the border. Do they look, you know, road weary? Do they look road weary? I mean, you know, have you seen a guy that's been out on the street for a few months? You know, I mean, how, like, okay, the movie, I know this is an extreme, it's an exaggeration, but, you know, the movie Castaway, watching, you know, I seen a meme today, and I'm going to quote a meme, you know, TV over the past several years has taught me one thing, and that's do not travel with Tom Hanks because, well, it's bad. You know, Castaway, you know, what was that movie? Sully. Yeah, it was a bad deal. You know, it is a bad deal. But you seen Castaway. It didn't take long for him to, you know, really look rough, you know, but these people, whenever they come across the border, they're not looking rough. You know, they're taken care of. They got new backpacks. They got relatively new clothing. They got a new cell phone. You know, they have provisions. They're taken care of. And yes, I mean, these things are, you know, they're coordinated. I mean, they absolutely are coordinated. You know, we have sent, as in American companies has sent people down south to coordinate these migrations going north. I mean, they absolutely have. You know, whenever Joe Biden became president, you know, because during Trump's administration, we had the whole stay in Mexico thing. You know, the Biden administration sent people down to Mexico to track these people down and say, hey, we now have a new president, come on up. You know, Trump's out of the White House, we have a new president, we'll do things the way we were doing them back during, you know, Obama's administration. That's kind of how that, so yeah, you know, and we also know about how many people there are in these caravans because we give them cell phones. You know, we give them things by which we can track them down. I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, you know. I'm guessing property values and apartment rentals must be super cheap south of the border. I mean, if everyone is coming here, then there must be a ton of vacancies down there. Right? Anyway. The great replacement theory. Haven't we been seeing that play out? I want you to think back. during Obama's presidency. What was one of the things that he said? I'm going to fundamentally change the nation. We're going to fundamentally change the country. Well, how do you do that? Well, one way to do that, the quickest and the easiest way to do that, is to open the border and to scream to the world that come here. We'll take you in. We will clothe you. We will feed you. We will give you a place to live, and we will pay for it. You don't have to worry about it. By growing the population of people that do not contribute to society, by ignoring immigration laws and granting everybody amnesty, even if they're not getting amnesty. I mean, think about it. We have, sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, and, we have all these things, and, it only takes one to say, okay, we'll give you a driver's license. With that driver's license, they'll give them the ability to vote, and they'll count it. I mean, even though, there's no place in the Constitution, nor is it, I mean, here's the thing that I find, funny, haha, is that, they wanted to claim about Russia collusion. Oh, we have a foreign entity, foreign nationals that are interfering with our free and fair election. While the whole time you have sanctuary cities and sanctuary states that will welcome with open arms illegal aliens to come across the border and then let them vote. Wait a second. I thought foreign interference was bad, but yet you're letting Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, you're letting all these people interfere with our election by allowing them to vote when they have no right to vote. I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry about this at all. Okay? We have the Constitution. Okay? Let's see. What does this say? The Constitution of the United States. This does not say the Constitution of the world. It's the Constitution of the United States of America. The Mexico, a citizen of Mexico, is not protected by our Constitution. We are under no obligation to ensure that their rights are followed. Okay? Yes. We have unalienable rights that are not granted to us by the Constitution. They are protected by the Constitution. I mean, that's just a fundamental thing about the Constitution. Our rights are not granted to us by, they are protected by, period, end of story. But our tax dollars are not supposed to be spent to protect the constitutional rights of people in other countries. It's not to make sure that they have access to health care. It's not to make sure that they have access to clean water. Okay? My tax dollars are not supposed to be spent there, especially whenever we have people here, right here in the great state of America, that are living on the streets, homeless veterans that are living on the street. We're going to give money to Ukraine and Taiwan to build their border defense while ours is more porous than, well, it might as well not even be there. I mean, good grief. The Berlin Wall has better security on that border than what we have on our southern border. That's fucking pathetic. How pathetic is that? The Berlin Wall, right now, has better security than our southern border. And that's one of the 18 enumerated powers that the federal government has, as in that's their job to protect the border, but yet they won't do it. They refuse. Why? Because they want to replace you with them. It is the great replacement, and it's not a theory. Is it a theory to say that 2 + 2 = 4? No, that's pretty well... that's fact. That's fact. I can type it in my calculator right now. 2 plus 2. What does it equal? 4. It does not equal 5. It does not equal almost 4. It does not equal 3. It equals 4. It is what it is. And it doesn't matter what your feelings are. It doesn't matter what kind of a day you've had. It doesn't matter if you're gay, straight, or whatever. It doesn't matter if you can't figure out what side is up and what side is down. It doesn't know if you know, or it doesn't care if you know where north is. North is that way. It's up on the map. That's what my daddy told me. That's what I believe. It doesn't matter. 2 plus 2, now and forever, will equal 4. This is not a theory. This is a fact. To say that the great replacement theory is a theory, no, it's a fact. We're seeing it play out in front of our very eyes. It's pretty clear and easy to see. That's what we are seeing. They are replacing us with them. Don't believe me? Let's go further. What do we see playing out right now? Illinois police force. Illegal aliens. Yeah. Cops that are to pull me over, to pull you over. People who violated the law to get here are going to get into a squad car with a gun and a badge, enforce the law and tell me that I'm breaking the law, that are going to give me a speeding ticket. Really? I want to see your citizen papers. Before you give me a ticket, I want to see your citizen papers. Are you an American citizen? No. Then who the hell are you as a lawbreaker to tell me that I can't speed? I say, hey, does that change the fact that I may have broken the law? I don't give a shit if it does or if it doesn't. This is an illegal immigrant. No. Sorry. This is an illegal alien. Go back home. You don't belong here. You sure as shit don't belong to, you can't have a badge and a gun. One of the things that they're doing is they're giving illegal aliens, the ability to, serve in the military. You're talking about a people that broke the law to get here. They do not respect our sovereignty, which means they do not respect us as a nation. Do you think these people have any understanding about what this nation was founded upon? Do you think they know anything about the Constitution, about our founding fathers, about our, the Declaration of Independence, about about any of it? Do you think they know anything about the Federalist Papers or the Anti-Federalist Papers? Do you really think they know anything about what makes America great? No, they don't. None at all. Dave puts in and goes, maybe we should start investing in real estate down there. It's pennies on the dollar. Yeah, pennies on the dollar. Replacement theory. That's what they're doing. Moving on. Let's see. Republicans cast doubt on whether Biden can win legitimately in 2024. Gee, of course they do. Why do you think they're doing the things that they're doing right now? I'm not. Oh, wait. Hold up. Nope. Okay. Let's see. What's this article? Biden wants to defend democracy by making sure that you can't vote for Trump. You see, Illinois, and I think Michigan, another state that is, let me just go through a list real quick. Some of the stories in here that we're going to discuss real quick. Illinois immigrants population soars under Biden government data. Illegal immigration. Wow, I can read. Illegal immigrant population soars under Biden, says government data. Lack of enforcement on the border. Republicans cast doubt onto whether democracy is breaking down right in front of our eyes because of the Democratic Party. And then the article that I was actually getting into is Biden wants to defend democracy by making sure that you can't vote for Trump. That's one of the things that just made me have to kind of laugh, because here we are. the Democrat Party, I was talking about this a little bit before. The Democrat Party, you know, the ones who believe in, huh. Well, hi, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am fantastic.
All right. Listen, I don't want to prolong your show. If you need to go, you can go. I know that you were talking about ending it, so right. I'm awake and I'm listening, so I figured I'd call and take a shot.
Well, you actually called my cell phone. But I, huh?
Are we on the air?
Well, kind of. I mean, I got you on speakerphone.
Oh, I can give you the. I'll call back on the right number.
All right, yeah. It's do you have that number? I mean, I know you did it one time.
I know. Why did I just dial the wrong number? What a moron I am. Hold on a second. I apologize to all your listeners. What a dummy.
It happens. I do it all the time.
It's not the 217 number?
Well, it is 217. It's 965-6133.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. I apologize.
It happens.
What a moron I am. All right, try that again. 217
965
965.
6133.
I'm going to call you right back.
All right.
All right, bye.
Hey, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Canyon of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Good podcast. You know what? And I like Dave's show. I really do. You know, I really do. It takes a lot of. Oh, here we go. Speaking of. Good morning, sir. You are on the air, the actual air this time.
There you go. All right, so here's why I'm calling.
Uh-huh.
All right, so let me preface. For the sake of conversation, right, for the sake of argument, I'm going to disagree with what you just spent like the last 5-10 minutes talking about. Not 100%. I don't disagree with you 100%, but for the sake of conversation and good radio, I'm going to disagree. I think giving the Democrats credit and saying that this is the replacement theory, right now, I want you to know, I haven't fully fleshed this out, but it's not the first time I've called into a radio show, and I yield. You know me, I'm very quick to yield because I don't know the answer to everything. But my feeling is we give the Democrats and the globalists, I think, too much credit for this replacement theory.
Okay.
Here's what this is my theory on what's happening. My theory, and it's just a theory, again, for the sake of conversation, for the sake of debate and argument and good radio. I think these people that are making these decisions, like opening up the border, Biden, day one, everything Trump did, he's anti. I think it really comes down to a couple of simple things. It's never one thing. It comes down to several things. One is just really complete stupidity. It's like we all know that Biden is a liar. He's a fake. He's a phony. I mean, he was called out for that by the mainstream media in the 70s and whenever he ran. When he ran, he was called out by Sam Donaldson and I think Cokie Robinson. A whole bunch of people called him out, and he had to apologize. And there's all these real, true video recordings of audio and video of him saying these things, and they're not true. And it's strange, that he wasn't thrown out, just like thrown out. Like, why wasn't he canceled? It's interesting. But anyway, I think it's stupidity, but it's also, how you have your convictions, I have my convictions. Sometimes our convictions are the same. Sometimes they're a little bit different when you talk about gun rights. Yeah. Their convictions, for whatever reason, probably based in emotional, their emotional capacity to understand weapons and other things that, that don't agree with your convictions. They just have a different emotional and spiritual and vision. It's that simple. I like vintage classic cars, muscle cars. Other people go, I like imports. It's just like I said, I don't want to give them too much credit for coming up with this great theory that we're going to replace. I don't say it's wrong. I just think sometimes it's not as complicated as we make it out to be. My argument is, I think there's a possibility. It's just a simple human behavior or element. It's something that they believe is true, that we should open up the border. I've had conversations with people close to me that say, everybody should be in. Everybody. I said, wait a minute. How are you and I related? How are you and I friends? How are you and I coworkers? How are you and I both humans on this planet? And you think it's okay to open those gates wide open? You really think, oh, no, everybody should have an opportunity to live in America? This is the arguments I've had. And I go, yeah, but shouldn't we know who these people are? No, it doesn't matter. They say it doesn't matter. Everybody should have a chance to live in the United States of America. I go, yeah, but why can't we adhere to the rules? Oh, the rules are against, then they start getting this argument about the rules, and it's anti-brown people, it's anti-this. I'm like, wow. So you really believe that? You really believe that the gates should be open, it should be closed, we shouldn't let people in one at a time, next in line, so here's the paperwork, fill this out, come back when you're ready. Like, you just think they should be here, and the court should be backlogged 2, 3, 4 years. I think I just read that. Like, the courts are backlogged, and these people don't come back.
Exactly.
Why do you want them? Yeah. And why do you want them in this country if they're not going to pay taxes? Like, and they're going to drain your resources for you. They're draining your resources. But it's so. Anyway, I could go on and on. It's your show. I'm just calling in. I just think it's not that well thought out. I think it's just that simple. I think they believe you, whatever your convictions are, and it's not a theory. Your convictions are convictions. And you grew up the way you grew up, and you formulated your convictions. I think they did the same thing, but opposite. They just led an opposite life.
In a lot of ways, Dave. I mean, I completely agree with you on that. We like to give them way too much credit. We really do. It's an aspect of, we want to believe that they have some great master plan when, a lot of the times, like what you were pointing out is very true, that it's an accidental coincidence that just happened to work in their favor. It's the, the stupidity of the whole thing that just so happens to be good for them and their agenda. But, with the great replacement theory, I kind of look at it like this, in order to achieve that, what's the easiest way to do it? Allow people that are not Americans to flood across the border and give them the right to vote. And this has been something that's been going on, since the 80s, since Reagan's administration.
Right.
And that's the only reason why it's like, it makes sense to me, because it's been going on for, put near most of my life. But I mean, that's the easiest way to change a nation, is to make it to where the majority of the people in that nation aren't actually citizens of that nation. They have no history, or that at least don't know the history. That's the only reason why I look at it like that with that argument. Now, for the most part, I completely agree with you. We give them way too much credit, when most of the time it's probably the idiocracy of the whole thing, that it just kind of happens, Yeah. I completely agree with you on that.
Well, I appreciate that. Again, I preface by saying I just wanted it for the sake of conversation.
Uh-huh.
I don't 100% even believe what I'm saying, but I just don't understand how you could behave like that. Well, with Biden is separate, because Biden has proven, it's so concretely proven that he is an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
He's a liar, because he wasn't number one in law school, and he didn't do well. And he said that he was ready to prostitute himself. There's a video of him saying, I'm ready to prostitute myself, since everybody else does. When I saw that, this was like back in the 70s and 80s, when he was, whatever hair he didn't have back then. But, what I'm saying, before the hair plugs. It's just, when you watch him say that, I don't know if you've ever seen that clip. He goes, I'm ready to prostitute myself as a senator. You ever see that clip?
I don't recall that one. No, I don't.
Oh, my God. When I saw that, I said, wow, on top of all the other idiot things he said, he's ready to get elected as a senator, and then be corrupt. He said it. I saw it. And I was like, oh, I wish I could. I'll try to find it for you, but you probably just got to Google it. Anyway, he's such an idiot. But not just him. So many other of these people that step up to the podium, KJP and the Secretary of Defense, and all these guys. You look at them, and they're like they're hypnotized, like Fred Flintstone, bitty bitty bop, bitty bitty bop. Like it's like when they're all cross-eyed, and they have. I don't know if you ever saw that Flintstone episode when he was hypnotized. Anyway, whatever. It's a Dave Canyon reference from the 70s. But it's just when you listen to them, I go, these people are that smart. I think they're just that stupid. And I don't mean to be insulting, but I think these are just their convictions because they grew up, by the way, with parents that also taught them these convictions.
Right, yeah.
Anti-gun and pro-abortion and, whatever, immigrant. It's like you inherit that. Now, I'm fortunate. My mother and father totally were zero involved in politics. They just didn't. They had other issues going on in their lives. You know about my parents, so yeah. I think you do. So for them, it was all about survival. It was all about survival to get through day to day and raise 2 children and dealing with their handicaps. No, we never talked politics, but believe me, if they did, I probably would have ended up agreeing with them because they're my parents. The same reason I don't play with fire in the house, the same way I don't run them with scissors. It's like sometimes you rebel, but it's true, right? Sometimes you rebel, and sometimes you agree. And I think when it comes to politics, a lot of these people grow up thinking, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing that. And who cares that New York City's going bankrupt, right? Who cares that they don't have enough money? Let's just send them more immigrants. It's like, and now Adams is having this thing with Biden now, and Adams, he can't turn. He has to pivot. He can't. He can't go, well, I'm going to go Republican now because apparently the Democratic Party is out of its mind. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think you grew up with this life, and it's hard to turn. I'm lucky. I didn't grow up with any politics, so I was able to make my own decision, which was, by the way, being a Democrat until I read Rush's first book. When I read Rush's first book, I went, oh crap. Oh, I'm not a Democrat at all. So, and I haven't turned back, so, you know what I'm saying? That I just wanted to call for the sake of debate, the sake of conversation, because, it's easy to agree with you and not call in. It's a lot more fun to slightly disagree with you and call in and see what we can come up with. But I appreciate you, at least agreeing, somewhat. Like I agree with you, at least somewhat. Go, yeah, I hear you, but Democrats, that's smart. Yeah, I don't think they're that smart. I don't think so. I think they're just lifeless souls. And they say the same thing about us, by the way. They say this, us, conservatives and Republicans. Oh, they're lifeless, they're soulless. They just want to tear apart democracy. They just want to do that. They say all these horrible things. And when I see them saying that, I go, that's so interesting because I feel the same way about you.
Right?
You're destroying this whole type. You're just destroying everything. And it's just so interesting that now they're talking about solving the border crisis, but you came in to a government that had it under control. Everything was fine. I'm not saying it was perfect, but it was. So now they talk about Biden solving the problem. Like, well, it's pretty clear. Isn't it pretty clear? Just do the opposite of everything you've been doing.
The people. You're right. I mean, the people in the know are like, why didn't you just leave in effect Trump policies on the border? I mean, we would be in so much better shape right now. But, oh, no, he had to, scratch the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
And so all the mainstream media, KJP and, Jen, the one that was there before her, and CNN, it's so interesting that it's taken a really long time, over 3 years, to finally give a little bit on primetime television or daytime, to give a little bit. But that for me, I'm going to say that proves my theory that it's not so much an educated theory that this whole replacement thing. I think it's just that stupid, and it's also, try not to be insulting, I think it's just their convictions. They can't let go of their convictions. By the way, wouldn't it be hard for you if somehow you figure out, oh, you know what? I was wrong this whole time. Abortion is great, and we should have it. Oh, by the way, I was wrong this whole time. Gun rights? No, I was wrong. It would be hard for you. You would eventually probably come to it. I would think you would. I know I come to certain things from time to time. I don't know what I can tell you recently that I've come to say, well, maybe I was wrong. But you've been wrong in life here and there. I've been wrong in life here and there. I think it's hard. It's really hard for Democrats. It's really hard for the mainstream media to go, ooh, hard stop. We were wrong.
Right.
You know, masks, and, you know, the inoculations, all that stuff. It's hard. It's taken over 3 years for them to go, ooh. And probably the only reason that they're even coming close to admitting anything, because they know they're going to lose the election. They're going to lose the election coming up because this guy is awful. His numbers are the worst, and her numbers are worse than his numbers. And where do you see her doing anything? It's so funny, like, you know, they're not campaigning. It's just, so I think there's a fear. And so they're only admitting a few things now. And that, by the way, they have nobody in the bullpen except for that idiot from California. And I don't think he's any good either. So anyway, it doesn't matter what I think. I like to have this conversation with you, Jared, because you're one of the few people I know I can do that with. And I know you'll accept things that you haven't said and you don't necessarily agree with. I think there's other things to this, and I think it's great that we can talk about it in this country and not get canceled. But I just, you know, I appreciate you listening. Thank you for giving me the time.
Oh, my
I love
pleasure.
the show. I'm so glad I'm awake. Yeah. And, sorry that
you're always welcome to call in, man. I mean, it's I like that kind of stuff. I really do. And, you know, I appreciate the devil's advocate type of thing because I'm one of them people.
Yes.
I like to do the same thing. You know, even if it's an argument that I completely agree with, I'll play devil's advocate. You know, and that's you know, it's that aspect of steel sharpens steel. You know, and I very much believe that. So yeah, it's that kind of thing is always appreciated and welcome. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, moving forward, yeah, it's like everything you just said. When you hear a sound, a big loud sound coming from the left, you know, the left of wherever you're standing, you know, it helps to look to the right because that left sound could be a distraction. And when I hear that these things, I go, wait a minute, let me just look a little bit to the right. Let me play devil's advocate. Let me just call in and let's just suppose that they're not that smart. Let's just possibly dig up something, you know, and see if there's another way of doing this. And I just think they're that dumb, and I think it's just their convictions. And I think they were born into it, and they were raised into it, and then they went to Yale or Harvard or wherever, and it got even worse. And then they found friends. And I got to tell you, I don't know about in trucking for you. In trucking for me a little bit, but not so much. It's hard sometimes to go, no, I disagree with you. I'm a conservative or I'm a Republican, and you're wrong. Because you just know it's going to be, you know, a shitstorm with certain people. It's a shit. You can't speak up. And I'm not afraid of losing my job. I'm not afraid of being treated a certain way. Listen, you do your show. You don't hide. I do my show. I say things all the time. I don't hide. I don't care who listens to it. You can disagree. It hasn't really gotten me a lot of new friends. I tell you that. I haven't really gotten like, oh, Dave, I heard your show. You know, from like people from high school, just my neighbors. Like nobody says, oh, I heard your show. It's really great. I totally agree with your convictions. I pretty much get nothing. Or, you know, so not that, you know, but you know what I'm saying? It's like I could see saying these things on, you know, WABC radio, like Hannity, or I could see saying these things and, you know, with that audience and getting a lot of people going, no, I totally disagree, and I hate Dave Canyon. I hate him because, you know, I don't agree with his convictions. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyway, I appreciate the time, sir. Happy New Year, by the way.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too.
Doing good.
Yeah, doing pretty good. Can't complain at all.
Yeah, me either. By the way, I'm on a furlough. I'm on a seasonal layoff, and I'm enjoying myself. It's a great, great time.
Nice.
But, yeah, I'm getting a lot of things done. Anyway, good night, sir. Good night to the audience. Sorry for taking up so much of your time, and I'll talk to you soon.
All righty. I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, sir. Have a great one.
You got it. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that was Mr. Dave Canyon, host of Dumbing It Down with Dave. You can find that wherever podcasts can be found, and he is hosted on Spreaker.com. Just search for Dumbing It Down with Dave. He's got an awesome show. He really does. And, you know, what he was saying there made a lot of sense. It really did. That aspect of maybe they're not as smart as what we're giving of what we're trying to tell ourselves. Maybe they're just not that smart. And that's the thing, though. And I agree with them a lot on that. I really do. Because in all honesty, hit the microphone, I apologize. It's easy for us to think, to feel that, our opposition is, Dave puts in here, he goes, "Thank you, sir. I appreciate the time. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you again for calling in." I like that. I really do. Call-in number. I'm not giving it because it's about that time. But, it's easy for us, or easy for anybody who disagrees with somebody, or, especially in this type of thing, whenever it comes to, politics, and even in, aspects of war, that, our enemy is really, really smart, and they got this grand plan and this grand scheme that they're trying to enact, when, a lot of the times it may not be that, and I think in some ways we like to think that, because, if we have this delusion that they are, like they have this grand scheme going on, then somehow that makes it okay for us to fail, because they're just better prepared for the battle, for the argument. They're better prepared in the situation that we currently find ourselves in. If our, it's like, 200, how long, it was over 100 years, that the Cubs went between winning the World Series. It was a while. It was a long while. But it makes it okay to lose if you have the outlook that they're so much better. There's no way you can possibly defeat them, because they have this master plan that they've been working on. So I totally get that. Yeah, I do. But I also find it interesting that here you have, this battle that's playing out between, again, this is, the part 2 to 2016. You got Biden versus Trump. The sequel, Biden versus Trump, the sequel. And they're so terrified of what Trump may do with a second term. They're so terrified of their own position. They're so terrified that he may upset the status quo. They're so terrified that even though they are Democrats, and in every instance but the times whenever they think democracy won't play out the way that they want it to, and this is a perfect example of that, what are they not allowing? They're not allowing for the Democrat process in this next upcoming election. We have Colorado that has removed Trump from the ballot. We have Michigan. We have, what's another one? There's like 3 or 4 of them. Michigan, Massachusetts, Illinois is talking about removing Biden from the 2024 ballot. Alaska. Yeah. All these different states are in discussions and enacting and about removing Trump from the ballot. Maine being another one, Brian said over there in YouTube land. Right now, some of that is kind of on hold because they're waiting to see what is going to go on in the Supreme Court with Colorado, but they're all making that move. So they are protecting democracy by taking away the choice that they are afraid that you're going to make. How is that protecting democracy? I mean, you got some people in there that are, wanting Nikki Haley instead of Donald Trump. And man, I'll be honest with you, okay? Whenever it comes to the Republican primary, absolutely, man, give me Trump. Give me Trump all day long. Okay? Give me Trump. Next time around, I'll take DeSantis. I'll take Vivek Ramaswamy. Any day of the week. Those are, my top 3 picks are them 3 right there. And here's the thing, man. Either one of those 3, you're not going to go wrong. Everything Vivek has been saying, I'm liking it. Every last bit of it. He's somebody like Trump that is not, he doesn't have anybody that he answers to. Okay? He's somebody that will go in there, take a pragmatic approach to it, to the presidency, get shit done, and I'm liking what this man says. I'm liking him. I like this guy. Dude, absolutely. Governor DeSantis, not a bad choice. This is somebody who has proven in the state of Florida that he can get shit done, that he can do it. He has proven in the state of Florida that Republican governance works. I mean, I don't understand who's that governor, in California or whatever, who's it? Gavin Newsom. Isn't he the one that he's wanting to run on the Democrat ticket? That he wants to go head to head with Florida. What? Are you kidding me? I mean, that's not even close. There's no comparison. You have one state that can't operate nothing, that's operating in a deficit. You have one state that is so poorly governed, it's not even funny. Has a debt that is absolutely crazy, and you have another state, Florida, that seems to be doing it right. That hasn't been having near the issues. That doesn't have the deficit. I mean, hell, in Florida, they don't even have a state income tax. You do in California. You do in New York. You do here in Illinois. You don't in Florida. And they're not operating at a deficit. And a lot of similarities between Florida and California when it comes to, coastline. When it comes to attractions, when it comes to, just, I don't know about population so much. I mean, really, it's a shame with California. I'm going to be honest with you, because California is a gorgeous state. Upstate California, holy crap. Beautiful state. Upstate New York, beautiful state. I mean, dude, the country, oh man. Countryside of upstate New York, wow, gorgeous. Driven through that state, you'd have no idea you were in New York. It's like South State, Illinois. Beautiful state. You get down along, the Shawnee National Forest and whatnot. Illinois is a good state. It's a beautiful state. I mean, it's not, it's the state of Illinois is more than just Chicago and cornfields. We got some prettiness going on too. New York is bigger than New York City. The state is bigger than the city. California is bigger than just LA or San Francisco. It's bigger than that. But it does kind of crack me up that the Democrats, whom supposedly is of the governing stance of democracy, do not trust you to make the decision on who should be president, they're afraid that he may actually win in the upcoming election, and therefore are making moves, are trying to remove him from the ballot. And this is what should appall each and every one of you. It's being done. You know, it's like going to prison for murder when all you did was show up to court for a traffic ticket. Oh, you were speeding, 40 and a 20. But we're going to send you to prison on a murder charge just because we said you killed somebody. And that's basically what's going on here. Now, one of the charges that Trump has had brought, that he's been accused of, now one of the indictments is of insurrection and rebellion. Dave Pitzender goes, yes, it is awesome. I love driving around upstate New York, but then again, I like Vermont, Massachusetts, some of Connecticut, some of New Jersey. Yeah, some of those states, I don't know about New Jersey, though, because, I mean, like, I've only been around basically the city aspects of New Jersey. You know, you get closer to the Pennsylvania line in New Jersey, then it's not bad at all. But most of the places I've been to in New Jersey has been city driving, and then just I don't like it. He said he's driven across the entire country, and frankly, I'm a nomad. I understand that. I think the entire country is awesome to drive around and see. Oh, yeah. Dude, this nation has a lot of just gorgeous scenery, a lot of stuff to offer. It really does. As a truck driver, I love it because we see a lot of it. We see a lot of it going at the, the speed of, whatever our trucks can go, 70, 65, whatever. But we see a lot of the countryside. But neither Donald Trump nor any of the people that is currently imprisoned, waiting for their day in court, any of it, none of these, nobody has been charged with insurrection. They want to claim Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and yet they want to ignore Section 5. Section 3 says that, yeah, if you do this, then you can't run. Oh. But yet they ignore Section 5 that says, oh, yeah. And by the way, Congress has the authority to set the rules by which this will be enforced. Guess what Congress did already? It's called the Insurrection and Rebellion Act. We've talked about this on this program before. It's already been done. So you can't have Section 3 without Section 5. You can't just arbitrarily convict somebody of rebellion and insurrection whenever nobody has been charged, tried, and convicted of insurrection and rebellion. That's all I got for you guys today. I wasn't flipping you off right there. I was legit just scratching, rubbing it. Never mind. There's no way around that one. Anyway, Brian Pitcher goes, blocking Trump off the ballot is like voter suppression at its finest. You are right. It's voter suppression. It's voter tampering. It's interfering with an election. It's so many things. It really is. Like I said, here, the Democrats love democracy until they don't get their way. Then it just gets in the way. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Josh puts in here, he goes, Facebook just banned me for 24 hours for posting your show. They said it was false information. Are you kidding me? That's amazing. Well, okay, I've had strikes on, for misinformation and malinformation on YouTube several times, actually. I've never had anything banned on Facebook. Now, my show, at least, I've never had a ban on Facebook. So how is it that it's okay for me to have it on Facebook, but it's not okay for you to put it on Facebook? That's just weird, man. That is absolutely weird. All right, guys, that is all we got for today. Holy crap, 2 hours and 43 minutes. Hey, I ain't complaining. I love the participation. It really is awesome. I do appreciate it. Dave, you're amazing. Josh, Brian, y'all are absolutely fantastic. I appreciate it. I really do. I thank y'all very much for joining in, and y'all have yourself a great one, and I will see you in the next one. This has been The Ho Ho Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpikle.com. Until next time.